Is Jesus coming quickly? Well, we're going to see that today, and then we'll talk a little bit about what that word in Greek means. Stay tuned.
Holy Spirit, come and refresh me. Holy Spirit, come.
Welcome to Through the Bible in 5 Minutes, and again, I'm your host, Brad Keeney, and today is episode 77, and we're looking at Revelation chapter 22, verses 7 through 13. Now, keep in mind again, there's 76 episodes before this, and they're chronological. We'll try to make these short, simple, easy to understand Bible studies, so you don't have time to go back through everything. They all build on each other. Ideally, they're designed to be watched like one a day, maybe, to start your personal study or something. That's really what I was thinking about as an ideal use of these. At any rate, that having been said, let's get to our Bible study. Revelation chapter 22, verse 7. Behold, I am coming quickly. That's in red, and Jesus says that. Blessed is he who keeps the words of the prophecy of this book. Now, before we go on to verse 8, remember, the quickly is the tachu word. I'm not exactly sure I'm pronouncing it right. I'm probably not. But that's like the tacos word we'd seen before, or tachos. And remember, that word can mean something that it may not happen right away, but once it starts happening faster and faster. And the best example of that, again, like I pointed out before, is in Luke chapter 18, verses 1 through 8. 8 is what actually uses the word. But it talks about the lady who is begging for justice to the unjust judge. And he does nothing initially, but then when things start happening, they start happening faster. So that's what we're talking about with a quickly. Keep in mind also, blessed is the one who keeps the words of the book. Remember, that was said in chapter 1, verse 3 of Revelation. So we kind of see a book ending of this, where he's going to also say he's the Alpha and the Omega, which he also said at the beginning of the book. So again, tying the whole book together as we get close to the end. Now let's go to verse 8. Now I, John, saw and heard these things, and when I heard, I saw, I fell down in worship before the feet of the angel who showed me these things. Then he said to me, see that you do not do that, for I am your fellow servant, and of your brethren, the prophets, and those who keep the words of this book. Worship God. Yeah, that's really important. Worshiping God, that's who we're supposed to worship. And keep in mind, I think we forget sometimes in our common age and our busyness, how I used to spend an awful lot of time in the garage with race cars and things. That can be a form of worship. Spending too much time at work, that can be a form of worship. Worshiping money, worshiping things, wanting to always go do something other than be with the Lord or other than honor what He says. There's lots of different forms of worship and idolatry. We should keep that in mind. Let's go to our next verse. Verse 10. And he said to me, do not seal the words of this prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. Now remember, in Daniel it said to seal the words of the prophecy. So this is different. Verse 11. He who is unjust, let him be unjust still. He who is filthy, let him be filthy still. He who is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he who is holy, let him be holy still. Now that's interesting, but we see a principle here. Remember, God doesn't force us to do the right thing. He suggests it, He tries to nudge us forward, but He doesn't make us do it. He doesn't force us to do that. Just like He doesn't force us to love Him, I don't believe. There are some who believe that He does, so I want to be honest and point that out. But I believe that we have a responsibility to respond to Him, and that He doesn't force those things on us. So we're going to see later on, it's what you do, not what you say, that dictates where you are. But anyway, let's go to our next verse and end with this comment from Jesus. Verse 12. Behold, I am coming quickly. There's that quickly again. And my reward is with me to give to everyone according to his work. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Now remember that Alpha and Omega and beginning and the end, that was chapter 1, verse 8. So again, the book ending of the thing. And his rewards giving to those as they have earned. Remember, there are different levels of punishment on Judgment Day for those who don't believe. And there's different rewards in heaven for those who do believe and work for the Lord. Keep that in mind. At any rate, that having been said, we'll look forward to seeing you next time, where I think we'll get Revelation finished up line by line, chapter and verse. Remember, we also have discussion topics that are intermixed, or if you have questions about when the rapture may be, or about the mark of the beast or something, we have those. But otherwise, our last Revelation line by line, chapter and verse study should be next time if it goes like I planned. So God bless. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.